Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. I'm your host for this evening. Thank you for joining us for the sixth night of Hanukkah. I hope the menorah in front of me isn't too distracting. We do this once a year. And I hope all of you have had a wonderful Hanukkah up to this point, and continue to have a wonderful Hanukkah till the holiday is finally over on Monday evening. Of course, the eighth night of candles would be Sunday night. So, welcome, Chanukah Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. We are praying out of Siddur Lev Shalem, which is downloadable as a PDF file from our synagogue's website. We begin this evening, page 5, with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Mi L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Seidchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. It is very, very cold. I'm sure all of you already know that. That is why I am in a sweater. I only pull these out when it is really, really cold. People might remember seeing this sweater because when Alana Hagler painted my picture that she won an award for, I actually wore this very same sweater. Okay, enough of that. We continue, page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Nariya, nariya, letzor yeshenu, nekad mafana betoda. Nariya, nariya, letzor yeshenu, bizmirot nariya lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladunai. Nariya, nariya, letzor yeshenu, nikad mafana betoda. Nariya, nariya, letzor yeshenu, bizmirot nariya lo. We continue in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands formed the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted, like the people at Meribah, like that time at Massah, in the desert when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way, so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. 40 שנה כות בדור ואמרם תוהה לבבהם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי ביפיי אם יבואון hail menuchati, page 13, Psalm 96. Ashiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai bachu shamo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru bagoyim kevodo b'chol amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai, o mehulal miyod, no ra'u, al ko Elohim, lai ki ko Elohe, ha'amim elilim, v'Adonai shamayim asa, od v'hadar lefanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, avu l'Adonai mishpachot amim, avu l'Adonai kavod v'oz, avu l'Adonai ke'evod shemo, seu mincha, uvo lechatzrot av lai, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ. אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, אף תיקון תבל בל תימור. ידין העמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. העיר ימו מלוא, יעלו שדי, בכל אשר בו לילה, אז ירננו כל הצייר לפני אדוני קיבה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ויאמין באמונתו, We continue page 15 with Psalm 97. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exult as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Or Zeru le'tzadik u'le'sholev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'odu le'zecher kadeshom. Page 17, Psalm 98. Mizmor shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Iki niflaot asa, Oshia lo yemino, Uzro wakot, Shodia Adonai Yeshuato, Le'er goyim gilad tzidkato, Zachar chasto ve'emunato, Levei Yisrael, Ra'u cholav se'aretz, Et Yeshuat Eloheinu, Oriu l'Adonai kol ha'aretz, B'tchum v'ranenu v'zameru, Zamru l'Adonai bechinar v'kol zimara, Mechatzot rod v'kol shofar, Aril lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yiram hayam u'malo'o, Tevel v'yosh neva, Neharot yimchaucha, Yachal harim yiranenu, Lifnei Adonai kiva, Lishbot haaretz, Yishbot tevel b'tzedek, V'yamim b'mesharim, Yalai, yalai, lalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, 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 yalai, lalai, 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 yalai, lalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, lalai, yalai, lalai, lalai, yalai, lalai. Continue page 19 with Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, all-inspiring Holy One. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai our God, bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God, you are a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu la'ar kadosho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Page 21, we rise, Psalm 29. Rise if you are able. Mihizmor leDavid, Avu l'Adonai b'nei Yelim, Avu l'Adonai kavod vos, Avu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El kavod hirim Adonai omayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayshaber Adonai et alzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion kemo ben reimim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholeo ayalot, Vayechasot yahavod, Uvehechalo kulo merkavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, Yeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz li'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. We continue, page 23. Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikabela, Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila, Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikabela, Lekrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor abiracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sov ma'aseh v'machshat chila, Lecha dodi lekrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikabela, Mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzi mitocha hafecha radlach, Shevet b'yemek habacha, V'hu yachamu alaychem la'alecha, dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela hitnari me'afar kumi lishevi deiti fartechami hayad benishai beit alachmi karva el nafshi Allah lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela hitoreri kiva ore kumi uri shir daberi kivod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela lo tevoshi v'lo tikami ma tishtochachi u'ma tehemi bach yechasu ani eyami v'nibneta ir al tila lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela v'hayulam shisa Sho'asayich v'rachakuko mivalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kinchaz chatan al kala lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela yamin usmoti froti v'et Adonai taritzi ayadish ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. We rise for the last stanza of Lachodidi, page 25, and we face towards the west to greet the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom materet bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzala toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Continue, page 27, Psalm 92. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name, Most High, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs. The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As a wild bull raises up its horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, they thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzadik Tamar Yifrach Tierez Balvanon Yizke Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Ginuvun Bese'eva Teshenim Verananim Yeyu Lehagid Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Lo Avlatobo. And page 29, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you are enthroned, you are eternal. The rivers rise up, Adonai, the rivers raise up their roar, the rivers raise up their waves. Above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean, Adonai stands supreme in the heavens. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Shabbat Shalom, Chanukah Sameach. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Hanukkah. As you can see in front of me, this is the sixth night of Hanukkah. And just as a shameless plug, tomorrow evening, as we conclude Shabbat, the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will gather. We will do Havdalah, and then we will celebrate the seventh night of Hanukkah by lighting the Hanukkah candles together. And then we will have a mini Hanukkah concert. So all the music will be Hanukkah related. You might recognize some of the fun music. Tom Lehrer, Hanukkah in Santa Monica. Carl is going to sing that, as well as some other really fun tunes. So it should be really a lot of fun. I hope you can all join us via Zoom tomorrow at 7 p.m. A story is told about a father asking his daughter what she learned in religious school. She answered excitedly, "The rabbi told us the story of how Jews escaped from Egypt and the evil Pharaoh. It was amazing. There was this giant airplane that flew down, and thousands of Jews raced on board, and it pulled away just as Pharaoh's armies were chasing it. And then all the Egyptians got in their airplanes, but the Jewish airplanes shot down the Egyptian ones with Uzi submachine guns, and all the Egyptians drowned in the ocean." Wow. Did the rabbi really say that? The dad asked. Not exactly, but you'd never believe the story that she did tell. It is hard to believe the stories of miracles that seem so pervasive in Jewish tradition. Many of us don't take them literally. Yet Hanukkah seems to be all about celebrating a miracle. In fact, the major mitzvah, holy obligation of Hanukkah, is to pirsumei, to publicize the miracle. That's why we put the Chanukiot in the windowsill, so people, when they go by your house, can see that you are celebrating Hanukkah. We are publicizing the holiday. Maimonides says the mitzvah of lighting a Hanukkah lamp is a very well-loved mitzvah, and one needs to be very careful to do it in order to proclaim the miracle and add praise to God and gratitude for the miracles God did for us. This comes directly from the Mishnah Torah. What is the miracle we are supposed to publicize? Actually, it depends on which source you consult. If you look at the book of Maccabees, books that are not part of the Hebrew Bible, the miracle is the military victory of the Maccabees over the Greek-Syrian army. Why is Hanukkah 8 days then? According to these books of Maccabees, either because it is a delayed celebration of Sukkot, which is an 8-day holiday, or because the Hasmoneans entered the temple with 8 iron spears, which they covered with wood and lit for 8 days. If, on the other hand, you read the Talmud, you discover on the 25th of Kislev commenced the days of Hanukkah, which are 8. For when the Greeks entered the temple, they defiled all the oil in the temple. And when the Hashmonaim, the Hasmonean dynasty, prevailed against and defeated them, they searched and found only 1 cruse of oil with the seal of the high priest, but it contained sufficient oil for only 1 day's lighting. Yet a miracle occurred there, and they kindled light for 8 days because of it. The following year, these days were appointed a festival. So why do we have 2 versions? I'm going to take just a second. This is the Siddur that I grew up with in Baltimore in my Orthodox synagogue. This is called a Birnbaum. A lot of traditional Orthodox synagogues, when I was growing up, used Birnbaum. It is, and in the back of the book, okay, there's a section that's called Megillat HaChashmonaim, the scroll of the Hasmonean. Okay? Now you might think, a Megillah for Hanukkah? We have a Megillah for Purim. I didn't know we had a Megillah for Hanukkah. Well, here it is. And if you read the footnotes at the bottom, you find out that this really was written in the Middle Ages. And but the story in the scroll of the Hasmoneans tells both stories. The one that's in the book of Maccabees and the one that's in the Talmud. And it kind of weaves together both tales. That is what I was raised on. Both sets of miracles. So, but here's another way that we can look at that. The books of Maccabees were written closer to the time of the military victory and described the Jewish people as independent, living under their own sovereign rule. They tell the story of a civil war between Jews who wanted to be more like the Greeks and with whom they lived, and those Jews, like the Maccabees, who resisted assimilation. The Maccabees were ultimately the victors, winning a guerrilla war against the forces of assimilation and the Greek-Syrian army that supported them. But by the time of the Talmud, which was almost 1,000 years later, the independent state of the Jews had been destroyed, and any hint of a military victory would have been seditious and dangerous. For the rabbis of the Talmud, the hero was God, not the Maccabees, and Hanukkah became a spiritual victory, not a military one. And what about for us? What is the miracle? The truth is there are many. One is the miracle of the victory of the few against the many. To paraphrase Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Another is the miracle of the courage to be different. It is the ultimate irony and misunderstanding of Hanukkah, which is the story of a fight against assimilation, to celebrate it as just the opposite, as a kind of Jewish Christmas complete with a Hanukkah bush. Finally, there is the most famous miracle of all, the little cruse of oil that burned for 8 days. It is this miracle that gives rise to the lighting of the Chanukiah, adding 1 candle for each night until on the 8th night it is fully ablaze with light. Rabbi David Hartman offers a powerful insight into this miracle when he questions why we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. If there was enough oil to light the lamp for one day, then there is no miracle on the first day. So Hanukkah ought to be a 7-day holiday, but we celebrate 8 days. Clearly, there must be another miracle here, which includes the first day. For Rabbi Hartman, the miracle wasn't that the oil lasted an additional 7 days, but rather that those ancestors lit the first wick at all, without being certain that the light would last long enough to complete the rededication of the temple. The miracle was that they took the chance, a risk, a leap of faith. They took the first step even though they were not sure they had enough resources to succeed. What is the real miracle of Hanukkah? It is the miracle of human courage that empowers us to take risks for the future, even in our imperfect, uncertain world. It is the courage, even in the darkest of times, to create our own light. Chanukah Sameach, Chag Sameach, and Shabbat Shalom. We will continue our service. Second. We will continue our service, page 39a. Please rise to Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam Avoed. You may be seated. Baruch et Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. U'mahavir yom u'mevi layla, mavdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai Tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu lamvoed, Baruch atah Adonai. Hamaviv Avavim, page 40. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otam limadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shachreinu v'kumenu, nasiach bechukecha. ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, תהילתך תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקדמך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, והיה אם שמוע תשמעו את מצוותיי. והיה לכם לילה לתודות בעיניכם, את פניכם לבית המשתך. תעשו ביתך בשמך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם, יעשו להם ציצית על כנפי ידיהם לדורתם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטור אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 43a. ואמונו כזאת הקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואמצעתו. המעביר בן גזרי עמסו ואת עודביהם ואת צאניהם, והתאמתי בה וראו בניו גבורתו, שיבחו והודו לשמו ומלכותו, ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדור בקודש, נוראתי לא תוסיף אלה מלכותך ובניך. בהוקע ים לפני משה זה לינו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלב יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 45. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו שלום. ושמוצאתנו אליכם ושלום יטל ויעלה וברוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך את אדוני הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. We rise, page 46. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו V'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. U'yom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We rise for the silent Amidah for Friday night, pages 47 through 52. Just a second. I don't know why they're putting this on a different page. After you get to page 50, it says at the bottom, on Hanukkah we had Al Hanisim, which is on page 430. I have no idea why they want us to jump over there to add this one paragraph, but that's Lev Shalem. Okay, page 47 to 52. Hanisim v'yala purkan v'yagvura v'yala tshuva v'yal milchamot shazid alavotenu v'yal mimayim bazman hazeh. Hanisim v'yala purkan v'yagvura v'yala tshuva v'yal milchamot shazid alavotenu v'yal mimayim bazman hazeh. And we will continue page 56 We rise as the ark is open for Elena. Elena l'shabeach ladon hakol latek gedula yotzei brishit shalo asanu kugoye haratzot v'lo samanu kamishmachot hadama shalo sam chelkenu ka'endego raleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim v'tem melech malkei hamlakim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosid haaretz v'moshe v'yikara b'shamayim imav v'shchinat zo begavei merobim hu Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu elezulato kakatu b'torato v'yadat hayam v'ashivota elavavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imav v'yal haaretz mitachat einod alkeinu v'Eloheinu. Gagadu b'toratech Adonai loch le'lam bo'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yomahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. This week we will observe yard sites for Rick Goldstein, Chaim Musafir, Jacob Rudnick, Saul Burgess, Ethel Raymond, Philip Stern, Sarah Ray Berlin, Fanny Fleischman, Ann Rose Berman, Sam Brenner, Eli Capuya, Phyllis Daniels, Rachel Moon, Victoria G. Capiluto, Aaron Aronov, Rose Elizabeth Baker, David Brenner, Lillian K. Ginsberg, Isidore Steinberg, Rosa Abramson, Edward Klein, Joseph Fleischman, and Ina Orange. Those observing yard site and those who mourn, please rise, page 58, and join me for the Kaddish Tone and the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabba v'yomad yivrach yirutei v'yomlech malchutei v'chayichon v'yomechon v'chayedach al Beit Yisrael v'agalav zman kariv yimeru amen yehi shmei Rabba mevarach ve'elam omen maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitkomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kusham b'richu Leilamin kobir chata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yomavi maru amen Yesh lama rabba min shemayim v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'mahu amen Oseh shalom v'mumav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'mahu amen. Ladies, thank you for joining me for Kabbalat Shabbat with this sixth night of Hanukkah. Again, I hope everyone is having a wonderful Hanukkah. I hope you got really great presents and just enjoying the cold. This really reminds me a lot of Salt Lake when I went out this morning. And I went right back in. I threw on a sweater. I had to wear my ski hat and gloves driving around today. It gets a lot colder in snow climates, a lot colder than this. But this is pretty darn cold for Montgomery. I don't remember it ever being this cold in Montgomery. So it just made me smile. Anyway, I hope all of you are safe and sound and don't have a lot of pipes bursting. I hope none of you have that happen. It's not fun. And we will be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. for the continuation of Shabbat and Hanukkah. Tomorrow evening, the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will meet via Zoom at 7 p.m. We will commence with Havdalah, go right into lighting the Hanukkah candles together, and then we will have a Hanukkah concert, which should be a lot of fun. Carl Sayers will be joining us, and he has some very entertaining Hanukkah music for us, and it should be a lot. It will be a lot of fun. So please plan on joining us for that. I want to make mention we will have a Tat Shabbat on January 6th, Friday night, January 6th. That will be at 5:30 p.m. There will be no services for adults at 6. We're just doing the Tat Shabbat at 5:30, and then that's going to be followed by a dinner after services for all the kids and the adults that come. The nice thing about January 6th and 7th is Carl Sayers will be joining us. So he will have some music for all the children that come. So I hope young and old will attend services on January 6th. And of course, Carl and Toria will be here Saturday morning to celebrate Shabbat with us. On February 3rd through 5th, the Camp Ramada Rome will be hosting the Southern Shabbat Shmooze. This is a Friday, it's a complete Shabbat, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It will be a very immersive experience with not only our community, but 4 other communities around in the South, specifically Chattanooga and Greenville and Columbia, South Carolina. Hopefully, and maybe some others will be joining us. But it's important for you, if you want to go. It's very, very inexpensive. It's $175 per person for the entire weekend. That's great accommodations, fantastic food, and that's it. And if you are a member of Agudath Israel, the added incentive is that the Leibovitz Scholarship Fund will be covering half of that. So this is an entire weekend of entertainment for less than $100. I can't imagine you can beat that. So in the monthly, there is an ad for this, which you can go to the Camp Ramada Rome website and register to attend. And if you're interested, please email me. I will get you the discount code so you can get the other 50%. But please, we need everyone who wants to go to please, please, please sign up now, register now. We need to have at least 4 families from Agudath so we can participate. I think we're going to get way beyond that. But I want to make sure you all have time to register. So please, please register. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that, we will go ahead and complete our service, page 211, with a donut. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam V'yacharei Kichlot Tako Levado Yenoch Nara Adon Olam V'huaya V'huove V'huye B'tifara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni Laham Shelo Lahachdira Adon Olam Beli Reshit Beli Tachli V'lo V'hamisra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam V'hu Eli V'chai Go'oli V'tzorchev li B'Etz Ahayem Adon Olam V'hu Nisi Umanos li Minat Kusi B'yom Mikra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam B'yado Afkid Ruchi B'yetisham V'yaira Adon Olam V'yimaruchi Geviyati Adon Oli V'lo Ira Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefso Kol Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Hope everyone has a very nice